Cuba, it's me. Welcome to episode 242 of The Willu Show, which stands for Wrestling is Life. Life is Wrestling. Now, today I wanted to talk about kayfabe. Kayfabe used to be where wrestlers would protect the business and protect their characters, and they would make sure to not let outsiders know anything. If the people found out, well, dirt sheets started coming out, newspapers started doing articles. Back in the 80s and 90s, you used to have the Secrets of Pro Wrestling videos on like the History Channel or whatever it was. And then WWF changed to WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. A lot of people knew before, but to me it's like, just because they know doesn't mean we don't still try and do it. I mean, when I go and see someone do magic tricks, I like to be suspended in disbelief. I don't want to know how they do it. I just want to be entertained by it. And the same as when I watch a television show. I know it's not real. I know they're doing all these special effects and stuff like that, but I like to get so involved in it and so submersed in it that I just forget and I can just take my mind out of reality and just enjoy it. Now, wrestling, a lot of the fans know too much now, and there's nothing we can do about it. But we don't have to keep going in the way we're going by giving them so much just because they know so much. I don't like when I see the wrestlers talking in the match. I mean, you got to, but I hate it when I see that. And I'm just as guilty as everybody else, but it's like, I want a little bit more mystery of it. Like, just because they know doesn't mean we have to be like, I know you know, so let's just, you know what I mean? We should be trying even harder. And like, I honestly feel like if you're a wrestling character, you shouldn't even have your social media connected to your own personal life. You should have your wrestling life and your personal life, and that way, whenever you're posting about something on social media, it can pertain to your character, contain to the stories you're involved in. It can contain just to wrestling, and you don't have to bring your personal life into it. But I understand why a lot of people do it, because you know, the more people know about you, the more relatable you could be, the more they could like you and maybe make you over more for wrestling. But then it even drives me crazy when wrestlers are such good friends. It's like, I mean, I guess why shouldn't they be? Yeah, you're competing in a ring. I'm sure hockey players are like I watch Canucks, so like a couple of the Canucks got traded away, and I'm sure the next time they play in the game against those guys, they want to win so bad, but do they still go out for dinner with each other or send a funny little text message after like, hey, oh, you scored on me or whatever? Like, I'm sure they do, but it's still competitive. But they probably do it more private, where wrestlers are always posting things on social media like, thanks for the match, I love this guy, check him out at your next show, he's really awesome. Which is fine if you're two baby faces, but I think we should protect it more. But I know I'm going to get people harping on me like, Elian, you're Elian Habanero, the guy that runs out and says, I love wrestling, let's do wrestling, Cuba, this is so much fun. But then here you are talking on the video like, blah, 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 boring old Cuba. Well, that's because where I live, I can't be super loud. I mean, I live in a building, like, I can't be upsetting all the neighbors and stuff like that, but also, I am that guy. I am that excited when I come out, but I'm not wrestling. And yeah, I'm talking about wrestling, and that's exciting, but I only get that energy from the fans. Like, Elian isn't going to be running through the supermarket saying, I love shopping, let's do this, where's the apples at? Like, you know, you gotta, but I just wish we would try even more, like, keep trying, like, at least to the best of our abilities. I mean, people know too much, yes, but we could still try and bring it back. And I think if you did that and created some real like realism, the realistic angles always go over the most, the personal hatred and stuff like that. And I know it's even harder in the independents because we don't have the worldwide fanfare that some of the larger promotions have, where if you see something on social media, it's not getting millions of follows or retweets or views or whatnot. But on a smaller scale, it still is, and there's still kids that watch, and they can really believe and get into it. And like, when I talk to the kids at the show, they're like, oh, that guy, I can't stand him, that bad guy you wrestled, blah blah blah, um, or I can't believe you beat him, or I can't believe you lost to him, and stuff like that. Like, they still believe it. So I just think we should try harder. But it's also hard depending on the venues. Sometimes the fans have to walk past the locker room to get to the bathroom or whatnot. Like, been at the one show, and we have like curtains protecting where only the wrestlers can go, but then the fans, some of them are not that smart, and then they'll come in and like, oh, I just need to use the bathroom, and then there's these guys talking about their match, and like, and it's like, well, what are you gonna do? You can only try your best, but I think people should make more an effort. I think kayfabe brings a lot more to the business. It just gives it a little bit more, even more mystery. And then you have like shows like the Botchamania show, and I love it. And I finally made it on Botchamania, episode 355 with the indestructible table. And you gotta just embrace that stuff, but at the same time, is that kind of stuff good? I don't know if it is, but that's the world we live in today. And just some of the things too, some of the silly spots, like wrestlers. There's been so much that's been done over the years. It's hard to come up with something new. So sometimes when somebody does a silly spot, that's just entertaining, but it's not realistic in wrestling. Like, some people will do those slow motion spots, or they'll pretend to have somebody under a spell and make them dance and stuff like that. And it's entertaining and the fans enjoy it, but at the same time, it's kind of crapping on the business a bit. And I've done a bunch of silly spots myself that, hey man, I was just trying to entertain the crowd, but at the same time, we got to learn how to maybe walk the fine line a bit more, or maybe I'm completely wrong. Like, that's what I want to know. That's why I want to get this discussion going. Um, is it possible to have a little bit more of a resurgence of kayfabe, or is it just too far gone? And what are things we can do to help that along? Or is there anything we can do? Or is it just, might as well embrace it? Like, you can't beat them, join them. So I want to know, let me know, what's your thoughts on kayfabe? Is it completely dead? Can it be brought back small steps at a time? Or is it too late? Let me know, because as always, on The Willow Show, like or you get a leg drop, comment or you get a clothesline, subscribe or you get a suplex. I'm your host, Elian Habanero. I love wrestling, Cuba.